Dimitry here with the Top 1% of Men podcast, where we only interview the top 1% of men, which is measurable by quantifiable metrics that can be backed up with numbers like income, like wealth, like physical attributes, and other notable achievements. I want to remind you that on the Top 1% of Men podcast, participation trophies don't count, and we don't allow man buns. So we're not going to see any man buns on the show today. I'm with Mohamed El Bahrawy, and we are sitting on the 47th floor, I believe.
Yeah.
In Dubai. So this is probably not a cheap piece of real estate.
Yeah.
And by all quantifiable metrics, let me tell you guys, I'll say this, I'm not going to name prices, but Mohammed is a client of LGG Fashion House, and he has a suit with 24 karat gold stripes.
Correct.
So just buying that suit puts you in the 0.0001%. We're probably worldwide, every company combined maybe makes 5 of those a year. We're one of a few companies that does that. So that puts you in a very top echelon of successful men. And we want to learn what it takes to be a successful man. So Mohammed, can you tell us what business you're in right now?
All right. At the beginning, hi, Dimitry.
Hello.
Thanks to be with me here. So I am Mohamed El Bahrawy. I'm the chairman of El Bahrawy Group. Basically, at the moment, we are building the first floating resorts in the world, which is based here in Dubai, under Kempinski operator. It's called Kempinski Floating Palace.
So you're a real estate developer effectively, and right now you're building some very unique hotels.
Let's say, yeah, but on a marine part. So
Okay.
we are a developer on a marine side.
Was that what El Bahrawy Group did when you started it with the company? Was that the focus? Was that the goal?
No, at the beginning was not. My background at the beginning, I was raised up on a hospitality part. I was working as a bartender, so I start from.
You were a bartender.
Yeah.
Until what age?
Until 26.
You were a bartender. So if a young lady met you at 25, you were serving drinks.
Correct. Yes, that was
okay.
happening exactly. Yes.
Wow.
So when I met her, yeah, I met her.
Was
at the
that your
bar.
main source of income until 26?
Yeah, that was my source of income. Yes, at the bar. Plus
Okay.
my family, they have
Sure.
the shipbuilding, so
Okay.
they do that some part. But
Yeah.
I was not into that business at the moment.
So
I
you
was
woke up a
focused
little late.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
focused on that, enjoying my life. Let's say
Right.
that
Sure.
time,
Yeah.
And that helped me a lot later on in my business career. Let's say.
Actually, I want to ask about that before. So what is it that you learned from bartending that you feel like you're transliterating into your business today?
A lot. I have. It makes me, for example, when you are in a bar, so you have you have 2 ears, 2 eyes, so 2 hands, so you are 6 on one, let's say. So,
Okay.
So you focus in every and each one. So you have to, to have to serve in each one to make every and each one happy. So it is a lot of things. So it's helped you a lot with eye contact to people, to read them, to understand what they're thinking about, etc., etc. Plus, when you go into the career of the business, so it helps or upgrades a lot based on that issues.
One of the things I hear from some bartender friends, and by the way, I tell young people, working in the service industry is so important, like being a waiter or being a bartender, because you also learn the act of service, which is very important. But one of the things I get from my former bartender friends is they became very good at reading girls because they were meeting girls through bartending. And then they feel like that actually helped them develop some social intelligence and read people better. Do you feel like you have an advantage by being able to read people very quickly because of that?
100% yes.
Okay.
Especially when you work on a tourist area where is different nationality of people, so different mentality. So when you meet every and each one of them, so you have to act to be one of his people. So it help you mentally to grow up quickly and a lot.
So you're a salesperson. So I would describe you as socially intelligent. Would you describe yourself as socially intelligent?
Not much.
Would your friends or family describe you as socially intelligent?
No, because
Really?
honestly, I'm a person who's like love to. Later on I start to live my family life, to be with them, to be out of social media. Like if you go, for example,
I don't mean like social media. I mean, are you generally good in groups of people and making networks and connecting with people?
No.
Really?
I'm not.
Okay. So how do you navigate that in the business world?
So here is the thing. So what I do in the business in a moment, so I have a unique product. What everyone comes to me. I don't need to have the social network around me to start promote myself or my product, let's say. For many issues, I can tell that the issues when you leave in many different countries than your country, so you cannot do this social network that you need. So this is the reason, me personally, I don't believe in that,
Okay.
let's say. But yeah, it work with other people.
Okay, but a young guy starting out, he wants to be you one day. He looks at you and he says, you know what, this guy is successful, and we'll get more into that. I want to build a life and a career like Mohamed. Where would he start?
Yeah, he has to start from zero.
Okay.
That's why I need to add Mohamed starts. So when I build my life, I go like step by step. I was not in hurry to be to reach where I reach in the moment. But I have to take the risk, which is very important. This is what the advice I can give to them. So you have to go into the risk. I don't believe to work on salary basis on someone or to work for someone, because end of the day, I believe in myself and I believe where I'm going to be.
So bet on yourself.
100%. And
Okay.
take the risk. You have
Do you
to
think
take
that
the
most
risk.
people bet against themselves?
What, sorry?
Do you think most people bet against themselves?
At the moment, yes, in that generation.
How did you condition your mind to do that? Did you have to condition yourself to learn to bet on yourself?
So this issues that comes from inside you. So you're not going to learn that from school or from someone or from Muhammad even. So this is you have to be yourself. This is what you need to do. You have to believe in yourself. This is what you need to do.
Have you failed?
Of course,
Have you failed so hard that you had to question yourself a couple
I
times?
did fail. I failed like few times. But there is no fail. There is no success. That will never happen.
Here's a fun statistic. The average millionaire who starts a business goes broke 3.5 times. That's the average statistic. That's from the US. 3.5 bankruptcies for an average millionaire that starts a business. A lot of people don't know that. They're shocked to hear that number. So you're 26. Did you go to university?
No, I
No
was in
university.
high school. Yeah.
So after high school, you went bartending.
I don't know. Just see, I don't feel myself to continue there. I love to have the market university, let's say the street university. This is the best.
So this is actually very interesting. We talk about street smarts all the time. You know, one of the things when it comes to street smarts is there are things that you can read in a book, but you can't learn them unless you do them in real life, because real life has consequences. You know, and a lot of people in school, there's no consequence to failure. So you're actually taught to not fail.
Yeah.
But you went the other way. So you're 25, 26, you're bartending. How do your parents feel about that?
My parents want to take me every time out of that life to bring me on a business life when we do in a shipbuilding, let's say. So this is, and I say, yeah, I won't be myself. But in the end, so I come back to that life in my way, let's say, not in their way. This is the reason why I take a different, a different line of business than what they do. They're doing like in small scales of shipbuilding. So when it comes to my experience on the life and my experience on the business life, let's say, or on street life, let's call it. Sorry, it takes me to a different level of creating a project what we have in the moment.
Did you have a good relationship with your dad growing up?
Yes, I do love my dad a lot.
Was your dad somebody that you consider a mentor?
No, my dad, he passed away while I was 19 years old.
Okay.
So, we don't go into that, that close to each other. On advice on a business, let's call it, on late age of him or early age of mine on business. But I have seen him in front of me all my life. Honestly, I have seen how he was a good man, how people talk about him good until that moment. And that helped me a lot in my business career until now.
See, that's one of the things that I hear a lot from people that make excuses. They say, oh, I didn't have parents to guide me, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and you went through, that's an experience that's a young age to lose your dad. And that's an experience that left you in a lot of ways without that guidance. But it wasn't an excuse.
Exactly. He left me with his good experience and his good background forever he did all his life. This is what he kept for me, honestly.
Do you have a good relationship with your mom?
Of course, I love her.
And how has she helped you, or has she helped you and guided you in any way?
See, the mom, she's not a businesswoman.
Sure.
You know that she is, but she's, in let's say me as Arab, so as a Muslim, so she's making dua for us. This is what she do every time. She supports her son all the time. So
how do you get the mind to create?
How do
you get the mind to create? Because so you're alone at 19, you're a bartender. Your mom is not a businesswoman. She's a house mom. She's building. She's taking care of the house. She's a family woman.
Yep.
And yet you've built what looks to me, being here in Dubai in your office, is like a pretty admirable empire, you know, in building very unique hotels on water. Like, this is just nuts. And we were talking earlier about, you know, international clients that are contacting you and all sorts of, you know, international divestors and investments. But who's creating this? Like, where are you coming up with these ideas from? Where are you taking the action from? Where's it coming from?
It's we go here to of course my mom, I mean, as at the beginning, but I will jump a bit to go into my wife after that, because she has, of course, I met her when I was when I was 26 years old, 25 years old. We worked together.
Were you still a bartender when you met her?
Yeah. I met her at the bar.
Okay.
Yeah. So she was like young girl. So we start our life together, and
so I just want can I pause? I'm sorry, I got to pause for a second, guys. This is for you. So a lot of women, like I was on Pearly Things podcast, and a lot of women are looking for an already successful man and betting all of their best years on that man. But I said this on the podcast, like, I think smart women bet on a man's potential.
100%.
And so she saw, you're a bartender, so she sees something in you, man.
Yeah.
And you know, I heard a story from one of your sisters that your wife is a pretty special lady, like gymnastics coach,
she is.
like so top-notch woman, and she sees you as a bartender and says, there's something about this guy. Yeah. So what's going on there?
Plus additional that she is very beautiful lady.
Anyone being
in
a
her
wrestling
place,
gymnast, I would imagine she's all right.
Exactly. So anyone in her place, why should I waste my time with a beginner guy or a poor guy, and I can go to have whatever rich man. But this is totally wrong. So when you raise up together, you grow up together, so you live as one. So the success, it goes for both of you. So she helps at the beginning that she was next to me. She never left me. Even we used to start our life, as I say, from zero. She never gave up. She was support every time. And that has given me, I mean, that's the push to put me in and to put me in the front. Back to the subject, what you say, which is the idea of the project, how it comes. I was mentioned that when I take my line of the career of my family as shipbuilding, I start think outside the box. What everybody do, everybody build the normal ships, everybody do a normal yacht. So I start think, what about if I can mix both together? If I get the houses to be a house plus a yacht in the same time, but especially that all wealth people, they're thinking that mind. So if at the beginning I start to have a nice house, then the next step when I go for nice yacht.
Yeah, sure.
So why not I can put both on one? Then I come up with the idea. Then it work well. Then we start launch the business. Then everybody say, wow, they applaud and say it's amazing idea.
So how important has your wife been in terms of your growth and your success?
Yes, she is. I can tell that she is my mirror. I mean, this is from where I got my energy to help me in my life. So I believe without her, maybe I would not reach where I'm at.
Does she keep your personal life in order?
She keep my personal life? What you mean with that? Be my private personal life?
Does she give you a hard time at home, or does she make it easier?
Normally, yeah. All wives did with the same, but I can manage end of the day.
No, that's an actually interesting question.
Yeah. I mean, it's a normal wife. It's a housewife. I mean, end of the day. So I mean, there is an issue happen back and forward, but we can manage. The good issue what we are facing together that we are, I mean, different culture when we start.
Okay.
I mean, this is some people they're taking that in other way, but yeah, at the beginning it was an issue. It was like, you know, the accident of the culture and mentality together as Arab and Russian or European or whatever it is. But yeah, 5 years later we start understand each other. We start to come to the same way together, and we'll continue. We still have as I say, like back and forward home. Yes, there is every house happen. But like the good thing, because the language is different, she still give me my privacy.
Okay.
Still give her privacy, which it help us to continue together in life.
So you found peace.
100%. Yes, we are.
So let's say there's a young lady listening to this podcast. Let's say she's 22, 23 years old. She's at her peak value, and she's looking to find a man to build a life with. How does she spot a young Mohamed?
she has to be patient with him. She has to, she has to wait for him. She has to give him the time. That's what she needs to do. This is what my wife did. But what we talk about, that was 17, 18 years ago. So whatever happened in the time now, so I understand life is getting different. But if the girl, she wants to keep a guy or to grow up with him,
Yeah.
she has to support him, and she has to feel this from him, that he want to be someone, like as I mentioned at the beginning, when you work to have a salary, to work under salary of someone, that you're not going to reach that wealth man or that rich man what you're looking for. That will never happen.
Nobody gets rich 9 to 5. That's true.
Yeah, correct. So you have to help him to start changing his career from that to be as a businessman, open his small business, failed and come, and then it will be someone.
So this is something, again, we talk about on some other podcasts as well. It's like, you talked about her being supportive. You talked about her sticking with you, being by you. It's like when you're going out and building a business, you're facing chaos in the world, and you have to bring order to that chaos. I mean, you are fighting business is competitive, business is hard, and there's always fires happening. The last thing you need when you come home is more fires. You can't be fighting a war out there and then come home and fight another war. So you need support. And this is what I tell the young ladies, because they ask all the time, what do your clients have? Like, well, here's an interesting statistic, and this is just for the audience too. Like, about 50% of marriages end in divorce. That number goes to under 10% for households with over $250,000 a year in income. So there's actually an inverse. People think, oh, rich people get divorced because the wife is stealing the husband's money. That's actually completely untrue. Yeah. Completely. The divorce rate is completely inverse to wealth. The wealthier you get, the less likely you are to get divorced, which means that you have a supportive spouse. So there's a high correlation between a highly supportive spouse that sticks by you and actually a man building his wealth. Why is that? Well, because he's not fighting war on two fronts, which is like, that tells you the importance of picking a good spouse.
Yeah.
And that's something we don't talk about enough, because, the general perception that I get when I talk to younger people is they're like, oh, if you make a bunch of money, your wife's just going to steal from you. It's like, no, dude, the kind of wife that's going to allow you to make a lot of money is going to stick with you, man.
Yeah. Can I stay with you forever, man? This is what.
All right. Three questions. We're going to blast around. What kind of watch you got on?
Sorry?
What kind of watch do you have on?
This is Frank Miller.
Tell us about that. What made you decide to buy that watch?
The watch, I was in Macau with my wife.
Love Macau,
yeah.
I just was there. We were just there, 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, love Macau.
Yeah, it's beautiful, yeah.
These glasses, oh no, he's got my glasses. Came from Macau, yeah.
All right, yeah. We were there, me and her. Then we went to the shop, and we find like two watches similar to each other. And say, listen, let's go to have that. Yeah, it was, but I love it. I love the watch, yeah.
You guys can Google that. What kind of car do you drive?
I drive G-Class Brabus. Hermes interior.
I mean, Google that.
Yeah.
So you're in a G, you got the Frank Mueller watch.
Yeah.
And what advice would you give to young guys that are 24, 25, that are in the bartender stage of their life? What advice would you tell them to be more like you?
Yeah. I will tell them, like as I say in the beginning, don't hurry the life. You will reach your goals on time. Try to go into the risk. Try to make your business fail and come again, fail and come again. Never get worried. Even happen. I know my friends 10 times they get failed, but number 11 they succeed, and they're one of the top businessmen. That's
gold, guys. Mohamed El Bahrawy, the chairman of the El Bahrawy Group. Please listen to this again about risk, about failure, about the importance of your spouse. These are themes that come up all the time. And what we do here is we take you to the top 1% men, so you can hear from the source. So it's not just conjecture. It's not something in a classroom. We take you to the real guys that are the real top Gs that probably fly chartered flights. I'm not going to ask. Yeah, clearly. And you can learn from them right here. So thank you for your time, and I hope a lot of men get inspired by you. So.
Thank you so much, Dimitry.
That was awesome, man. You're natural.